Hey kids, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have an Alvarez, I believe it's an Alvarez, yes, acoustic on the bench. We're doing a restring, a setup, and we're taking out a nondescript active system in there and putting in an LR bags because that's what I like and that's what I recommended to him. Excuse me. So let's get to work. And nice looking instrument. Strings are absolutely worn out. This guy's a traveling musician. I worked on several of his guitars. This one's pretty nice and in pretty good shape. Don't know much about it. I couldn't tell you, how expensive or inexpensive it is, but I can tell you the build quality is pretty nice on it, and it sounds good. I got a feather in my throat. Strings are gone. LR bags we're putting on there because that's what I use. So let's de-string it, and we'll get. It's got an acoustic pickup in it somewhere, but it's pretty weak. Got to really jack up the gain to get it to make any sound, and that can be problematic, especially for a traveling musician who's working in different venues and not knowing from spot to spot what he's going to be playing out of. So the more consistency you can get with the onboard system, the more consistent your shows are going to be whenever you're doing a gig. So let's get to it. I'm going to pause while I do this because it makes a terrible racket, and I'm not going to kill you with that noise. And also to save just a few seconds of time, so stand by. So my absolute most unfavorite tuners are on this guitar. So it tells me what the price point is. These things I always recommend to the client, get rid of them. You have to put better tuners. This is where your tuning stability is, part of it. They're all a little bit loose. They're all working, but one of them is kind of starting to blow its cookies. So I got to be really mindful of that when it comes to restring. This one, the peg is actually bouncing up and down in the tuner. None of the other ones are doing that. I got to really be mindful of that. Dirty. Since I'm going to have my paw down in there, rather not get all kinds of crud on it. What is in there? What is in there? I think there's just the simplest of simple pickup systems in here where I don't know where it's picking up from. There is a transducer up underneath the bridge. Parkus Perry? I don't know, I'm reading it backwards. I don't know. Barkus Berry. Well, I've never heard of it, but that doesn't mean anything. And yeah, it gets its power from plugging it in, which is pretty not good. It has no power, is what I'm saying. And that's kind of what the customer's complaint is. Let's get this out of here. Bigger than 13? Weird. That's the whole system right there. Right? It's just a transducer that sticks with double-sided tape underneath the bridge on the inside of the guitar, and that's your output jack. Pretty basic, pretty simple. I'm going to use this to measure the other one because that's always fun, getting the other one and getting it just right. Usually I have to go in and out a couple of times. So we know we're going to have to drill a hole here because this one comes with a piezo style, goes under the saddle, and that's going to, necessitate doing a more of a setup and paying attention because it's definitely going to raise our string action slightly. As you know, I've done these on a couple of guitars for you guys. I've actually installed dozens and dozens of these things because it's what I recommend, it's what I believe in. They work, they don't give hardly any trouble that I've ever had with them. So, you follow? This does carry its own onboard battery, so you have to change a battery in it every once in a blue moon. I recommend you at least get it tested every time you change your strings. Unless you change your strings once a year, then you better have this thing checked, the battery, more often, especially if you use it a lot, I was hoping against hope. This one does not have an external gain adjustment. The reason I'm mentioning that is one of his other instruments does, and there's a very specific long plastic tool that the LR bag sends with it to adjust that, and it did not. This one doesn't need it. But I digress. Yeah. We're going to drill a little hole here. I'm pretty sure our hole back here should be okay. Pretty sure. I think. It's a little tight. I'm going to have to bore that out with a drill bit. It's a little tight. So that leads us to the first operation, which is I'm going to get this installed first, and then I'm going to go to doing a setup on it and what have you. Let's get this back on there. I know what size this is already, and it should only take one pass. It should only take one pass. Yep. Actually, I think it just needs to be cleaned out a little bit, the hole. Yup. Guess I shouldn't have put all those screws and nuts back on there. Just keep them off for now. Yeah. It's fighting me. it needs to fit in that hole relatively easily. If it doesn't, it will be hard to pull through. I think we're going to go up to that size. I was sure it was 15-30 seconds, but I'm going to go up one size increment. That's what I want to feel. Nice and smooth operation. Because when I go to pull that through there, I don't want it hanging up on anything. Yeah, follow. Oops, I knew I was going to do that. Let's say, if I remember correctly, perfecto. Right in the corner where the saddle slot is. Pickup should slide in there relatively easily. And it does. Like that. So far, so good. Well, after you've done 100 of these, you get... I didn't have to start with a virgin wood back here. This hole looks like it's centered, sort of. That's the trickiest part, is getting it centered where you like it. But this one already had a hole there, so I'm reusing it. There's no reason not to. So the fun begins now. I'm pretty certain this has got to go quite a ways back. We're going to start there and see. Just to get it sized. And in case we get it the first time, I'm going to undo everything. So I can then just finish it. So. Fish, your little homemade tool, which I refuse to pay $60 for the other one. And the other one is solid anyway, and this works just as good. I know I'm going to have to do it a second time because I don't have any washers on the inside. I'm just doing this to measure it for right this second. Pretty certain. It's got to, I think we're going to back it off just a little bit and then put the lock washer, and I think we're going to have it. just a bit to facilitate this big honking washer that goes on there. Is that going to give us enough? I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. Okay, we're going to try this one time and then I'm going to pause while I try to fish that little guy in there because that's always fun. I think I got it just right. Even farther. You see, that's why. You got to do it a couple of times. Once I tighten it, it's going to pull it. So I'm gonna roll with that. I think we're going to be good. I hope so, because I really don't want to get it all back together and then have to take it out again. Washer. I know you guys can't see this very well, but washer and then the nut. Then pull out the tool, test fit. Once we get a little bit snugged up. This tool just goes in the output jack. You tighten it and it splays out and holds the output jack from the inside so that you can put a spanner wrench on it and tighten it. If I can remember where I put my spanner wrench. We could use the right size. I'll bet it's 14. Oh, it was 14. Maybe it's half. It should be either 13 or half. It is 14. Is it? Oh no, it is half. Of course, I knew it. I knew it. It's 14 on the old one, which is an oddball size. Perfect. Now we're going to know, this is the moment of truth when we put on the beauty ring, if it's far enough. I would like to see it come out farther, if you can believe that. It looks like it wants to go in more, but no! You want the inside jack flush with the beauty ring. It's almost there, but not quite. And not quite isn't good enough for me. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to size it one more time just to get a little bit more pulling out. And we'll be right back. So once we get it in there, and you can see I have the Yazoo is fished through. That's actually your pickup now for the active system in this guitar. And what you do is you put a battery just to test it before you get any farther. No reason not to. Yeah, I'm good. I know what I'm doing, but I'm human. I could make a mistake. This goes in there like that. Tone, volume all the way up. We're just going to tap test it. You know. Oh, there we go. I can assure you this system is far more attentive than the other one. See, it's trying to feed back. That's how sensitive it is. The other one, it didn't have any guts at all. This one, he's going to have far more adjustability with it. And that is a good sign. I'm sure he'll be very happy with it because I've been happy with every single one of these that I've ever put in a client's guitar. So, next is route our wires around to where they're going to be out of the way. First, before I do anything, I am going to, just for purposes of getting everything where I like it, I'm going to tape that down. That way it can't come out. Because I'm going to have to finagle these wires around a little bit to get them where I like them. I want the battery over here, or maybe back in here. It looks like that's the way the wires want to go, over here. This is going to sit right here beautifully. And then the battery box will go over there. So I think what we need to do is kind of put these wires down right over there. If I'm not mistaken, we've got a couple of them right here. These are just 3M double-sided stick'ems that hold the wire. You peel it off and you stick it where you want it. So you hopefully don't see it through the sound hole. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to stick it as far over there as we can get it. We're going to stick it over there as far over there as we can get it. Is what we're going to do. Come off of there. Don't fight me. Just peel off. Thank you. So that's going to hold right here. Make sure we're not tugging on it. Yep. I like that. And then the battery wire will go over there. I love it when a plan comes together. Get it where you like it, and then stick it. Right there. I would move it over farther, but there's a brace right there, and I didn't want it there, so it's going to be right there. There's a brace right there, and it would be half on it and half off of it, and I don't like that. That should be fine, because the string is going to go right across there. You'll be able to get in there and hit his tone, and especially his volume. Tone has got a detent in the middle. That's where I leave it, and then volume, I'm just going to give him a little push, and it's ready to go. Now, battery, same thing. It's got a little canvas bag. I'm going to tuck it in over here so it's out of the way, and the wire will follow right around. Now, if I did everything right, the wire will reach over there. What do you think? It should be out of the way, which it is. Gotta love it when the plan comes together. I think I'm going to put one more thing right there. Don't you love it? So our LR bag system is installed and it's ready to go. We're going to stop there today with this first video, and then when I come back, we're going to do the setup, restring it and set it up. There. Now that will hold that wire out of the way. Nobody will ever see it through the sound hole. Cool. All right. That's it. Phase one, we got the LR Bags Element Active System in with a tone and volume adjustment. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. We'll be right back in a second video. I'll run them back to back so you can watch it. Thanks.